Hi there, in this video I want to look at cropping. Now my opinion is that every image and every photo should tell a story, and the problem here in this image is that there's too much space around it, that it doesn't tell the story enough. The signs here get lost. So I want to look at some rules first on cropping, and these are the rules that I've come up with. The first one, we're cropping to getting closer to the story. We crop off parts that are not important so that the whole image tells a story. The second one, leave space where someone's looking or where they're walking, so we don't want them looking at the edge of the photo. The third one, don't chop off limbs at the joint, so don't chop off on the knee, on the elbow, and don't chop their ankle off, things like that, or at their ankle. And the fourth one, don't crop on an edge of something. So I'll give you some examples here. Let's look at the images first, and I'll just explain what would need to be done, and then we'll go ahead and do it. So this one, we want to get in closer to the story. These outside parts, especially on the left, are not important, so we want to crop those out. This second one is good because the surrounding does give it a feeling for the image. It tells the story also, but we could get in closer so we can see what they're doing. And if we get in closer, we can crop some of the right off here, but we don't want to crop off too much of the left because they're looking left. We want to leave some space where they're looking, and in fact they're looking to here, so we can crop to the left of it, maybe there. The third one here, they're going to the right, so we've got to leave more space on the right than we do on the left, but we can crop in to get closer. This one here, this crop at the bottom is good because it's not on the knee. If they're cropped on the knee, it would look funny, and if they're cropped on the ankles, it would look funny. So that's okay, and we probably can't go in much closer. The next one, this crop on the right isn't good because it's actually almost touching the elbow, and you should either leave some space or get in a bit further. They're walking left and they've left a bit of a space on the left, so that's good, but I think we can get in a little bit closer and see what it looks like. And the last one here, they've been cropped at the ankles a little bit and on the feet, so I think we can come up. We could come up to the middle of, we don't want to crop on the knee, so we could crop above the knee or below the knee, and maybe telling the story would be better if we cropped it a little bit higher here. So we'll try that. Let's go in then and do the first one, and we've got too much surrounding it, so we want to crop in. Let's click on the crop tool, and we've got several ways of doing it. What they're trying to do is show off these signs. I don't understand, is it Italian? I'm not sure, but they're trying to show these Nina is boy and girl. I'm the boy, I'm the girl, I think. I'm not sure, but they're trying to show that off, so we would like to get really in close on that, and let's do that in this case. Then we could on the left leave a gap, but I'm going to come in close to see those signs, so I'm going to come halfway up here. I don't want to do it on the edge of this, so we can come in and then it will look natural. Maybe a slight bit more like that. Let's do the same on the right, and this time we'll give it a bit of a space. We don't need to chop off any of him. I do like to have images as square as possible. I don't like them too tall or too wide, because then as a thumbnail they don't show up so much. The squarer they are, the better they are as a thumbnail. So let's come down on the top. We don't want to chop off the head or anything, and we can come a little bit up on the bottom, but we still want to leave a gap. What do we think about that? I think I might just come out a bit further, a bit wider, because I think the head is too near the edge of the picture at the top. I want to give a bit more space for their head. Let's try that, and let's just zoom in there. So I think with that it shows this is their message, and it shows a lot more. Let's go back to the previous one. Let's go to history, and it was like this, and it's really not showing that message there. And once we cropped it, we've got the message. This is what they're trying to show. Other things I would do is I would add a bit of vibrance to this and make it a bit lighter as well, probably. But I think that's fine. We probably could do it without chopping off this here. Let's just have another look at that. That would be another choice, would be to come out here on the left rather than cut off that. And I wonder if it would also look good if we got him really close. What you can do is do have several different goes at it and see which one looks the best. Do we still know the story? Maybe not. Maybe it's okay. It gets in closer by doing that. And as long as it still tells the story, you don't necessarily have to have all of them in it. But here, again, I didn't crop off at the elbow. I left a bit of space above the elbow. And same here, I didn't crop on the elbow. Here I've left a little bit of space. It's not on the edge of this. So that is another way of doing it. Let's look at the next one. And let's look at the full image first of all. And it tells a good story, and we don't really need to crop this. But if we do want to tell the story, even make it stronger, we can come in. So we can come in on the right a bit. Now again, we want to be careful with this house. We want to either cut it out or leave a reasonable amount of it. Let's do that. There's no sudden joint on the end. That's okay to leave it there. They're looking left and they're looking at this, so we have to crop to the left of that. I think we'll keep all that water inside it and leave a little bit more space. You've got, I've moved the picture a little bit. Let's go up a bit with that. I think we've got a nice reflection there. We'll keep some of that. And we've got the water coming up to here, so we don't really want to get rid of that. Maybe we can come in a little bit more on this side. Let's try that. I think that tells a better story. Let's go back again and look at the original. These are images I got from Pixabay. I just thought I'd get a real selection of images and just different types so we could see what to do with them. Let's go back to the original then. And that's pretty good. But let's come into this next one. And I think this tells the story a lot more by going in closer. It's really tells that story. Let's go to the next one. So they're lost a little bit, but I think it's okay because you could even come further back and it could be like they're lost at sea. But if we want to come in close, then we need to leave more space in the front than behind. Let's do that first then. Let's come in quite close behind. But let's leave us more of a space in front because that's where they're going. You don't want them going into the edge of the image. Probably could do a little bit more than that. Maybe there. And then let's just take some off the top and bottom to balance it. I think that looks balanced. Let's have a look. So that's the after, and that was before. Just gets in closer so we can see what they're doing. And I would say even closer might work, as long as we don't, if we've got enough pixels to go in close, then this part is not that important. We don't crop on the end, but we could crop about here, where it's not on anything important. It's in the middle of that. Then we could actually give them a little bit more bit less space actually in the front. We wouldn't need quite so much. and then we could come up and we could get in a bit closer. Let's do that. There's a lot of dead sea at the top that's not really needed. Let's even come in a little bit more. I think that's good. That still tells the story better than before. You can actually see the details. Could we come in closer? Maybe. If we wanted to come in closer here, let's leave that paddle, but we're okay there. Let's give them a slight bit more where they're going. And we'll just cut out more of the sea. No, I don't like that. I don't think that works. You could come right in like this, as long as we're not cutting on something. Here we've left space for the paddle, and we've left plenty of space at the back of these, so it looks all right. Let's try that. I think that looks more action than before. It looks like they're doing something now. It definitely looks more exciting than before. This was the original. And a little bit you get the feeling that they're in the middle of nowhere, but not that much. If it was a lower angle, you could have it like they're in the middle of the sea and trying to cross between two islands, something like that. But I think because it's not showing much of the sea, you don't get that feeling. Whereas if you crop right in here, you get a feeling like it's a bit of action. I think that's better. This third one I think is fine because it is cropping in a good place. It's not on the knee, and we can't really crop the top because that'll cut off her face. The only place we could crop really is to choose a different place at the bottom. We could choose in the middle of her arms here, so not on the joint, but in the middle of the arm. And we could come in and leave a space on either side, leave the image quite square. She's facing right, so we leave a little bit bigger on the right than the left. And let's try that. That looks okay. I think that tells us more than the other one, than the original. The original, it's good because you can see all the clothes, but I think what we're interested in is her face and neck. So this does tell the story better. I think that's better. To the third one, and here I don't like this crop on the right. It's touching the elbow. You got the flags at the top, which is good. Let's see if we can come in closer though to show off their faces. So I think we want the flowers, but we don't necessarily need the stalks. If we cut here, about there, and trouble is we're cutting his hand there, which isn't good. Let's try just below that. Let's come above their heads. This makes it squarer. Let's have a look. I think that's much better. It tells more of a story. You've got this bit on the right here that we don't really want that. So what we could do is come in just a bit so we're not on that joint. And that's fine. They're going left, so we want a space left. I think that's a better crop than before. Let's have a look before. On the history. So that's before, and this one is after. And it just means you can get in there. You can see their faces much better. And we're okay with the crop here. He's got space below his hand. It's not cropped off. The end of this is not cropped off. I've cropped the middle of her arm because I didn't like it cropped on the edge of the arm. And you've got space on the left here where they're going. So I think that's better crop. And the last one here, it needs a bit more brightness, but I'm not looking at that this time. The main thing here is the feet have been chopped off. So we don't want it on the feet. It doesn't look good. Let's do it where it's okay. If we did it about here, it's not on their joints. Their knees are, it's above their knees, so it's okay. It's also getting in a bit closer. Let's leave a space either side. We might want to come down slightly just to balance it. Only a little bit, not down as far as their knees. And let's have a look. I think it's okay. You can see what they're doing here. I haven't chopped them at the knees. I've chopped them above the knees. I left a little bit of a space at the top. That's to make it more square. And I've left a space on the left and the right. Can probably, to make it a little bit more square, can just bring that one in on the left. And maybe the right as well, just a little bit. Keep it balanced. Oops. And that's it. You've come in closer. Let's have a look at the original. That's the original. And it's okay because you've got a lot surrounding it. It looks okay anyway. But when we came in, you can see what they're doing. And in this case, they're not really doing much. They're just picking, having a little drink and something to eat. So I don't think there's enough of a story in this, or not an interesting story. But I'm just using it to show you how to crop. So that's about cropping. I'll go back to those rules. Crop to getting closer to the story. Crop so you really tell the story, and make sure you've got an interesting story to tell in the first place. Take a picture and use pictures of something interesting, and then getting close. Leave a space if someone's walking or looking. Make sure they're not looking at the edge of the image. Don't chop off limbs at the joint. Always chop off between the joints. Don't chop at the elbow, the ankle, the knee. And don't crop on an edge. Come in a little bit or leave a space first. So I hope you found that useful. I'm doing a lot of videos on how to improve your images using Photoshop, and also how to use images for your website and your marketing. If you like to see more of those, please subscribe to my channel here on YouTube, and please give me a thumbs up. So I hope to see you soon in the future, and bye for now.